What is going on, Guardians? Ember here with another one for you, and today I have an incredibly powerful Warlock build for Void 3.0, taking advantage of the new armor mod systems that we have, and let me tell you, it's absolutely cracked. It's better than ever. I can't wait. But before we get into it, let's head down below this video, absolutely obliterate that like and subscribe button. Go ahead, tell me if this is the kind of content you like to see in the comments section, and don't forget to stick around at the end of this video for an original meme. Alright, so today we're going to be taking a deep dive on the Voidwalker Warlock. I'm using a collective obligation for my exotic weapon, and that's going to be the primary weapon that I'm using for the entirety of the build here. Let's take a look at our mod customization page over here. I love this new page. It has been such a fantastic addition to the build crafting of Destiny. Before, it's been really confusing. Let me know in the comment section down below if you have been enjoying using this mod customization page in your own builds. So let's start off going over the weapons. Like I said, we're going to be using the collective obligation. I'm going to pair that with a Pardon Our Dust grenade launcher. It's going to specifically have disorienting grenades on it, and I'm going to be using a falling guillotine, relentless strikes, whirlwind blade, all that good stuff. It's going to be chunking those champions down. Let's take a look at our collective obligation. The intrinsic perk is called Void Leech. This weapon leeches void debuffs when damaging targets that are suppressed, weakened, or volatile. Once charged, hold the reload button, whatever that is on your input method, to swap firing modes. In this mode, damage from this weapon applies the same void debuffs that were leeched. The other perk on this that we're going to pay attention to is called Umbral Sustenance. This weapon's magazine is automatically reloaded when you gain Devour, a Void Overshield, or become invisible. And if you have played Warlock at all in the past, especially Void Warlock, you're going to know how easy it is for Void Warlocks to gain Devour and to keep it procced every single time that you get it. You're going to have 10 seconds of it. We'll get into that later. Like I said, Pardon Our Dust. We want the disorienting grenades on it so we can keep enemies from shooting at us when we get into hairy situations. And autoloading holster is also a basically mandatory perk. Pretty much any breach load grenade launcher that has autoloading holster and disorienting grenades, that's what we're going to be looking for. Let's head back over to our armor tab here. We're looking through our subclass real quick. So I'm using Nova Bomb Cataclysm. I really like how that one works. I'm using Healing Rift, Burst Glide, Pocket Singularity, and the grenade we're going with today is the Vortex Grenade. This is a grenade that creates a vortex that pulls targets inward and continually damages those trapped inside. The aspects that we're going to be using are Feed the Void. Defeating a target with a Void ability activates Devour. While Devour is active, Final Blows restore your health and extend Devour. That's just how it sounds. Every time you get a Final Blow, it's going to completely refill your health bar instantaneously, and you're going to reset the 10-second timer on Devour so you can do it again. It's very powerful. The next one is Chaos Accelerant. Holding whatever your grenade bind is to charge up your grenade, it will make it deadlier and more effective. For us, we're using the Vortex Grenade, so that increases the size and linger duration of the vortex. For our fragments, we're going to be using Echo of Expulsion. Void ability Final Blows cause targets to explode. It's also going to give us a nice plus 10 intellect boost. Next, we're using Echo of Remnants. Your lingering grenade effects have increased duration, and that stacks with our Chaos Accelerant, which is going to increase the linger duration of our vortex. So we're going to get 2 stacking bonuses to the duration of our vortex grenade. It really, really helps when we're dealing with something like champions, bosses, vehicles, things like that, to keep the big damage placed on those targets. We're also using Echo of Undermining. Your void grenades weaken targets that is going to tank our discipline by 20. Now, the rest of the mods we have for our armor, those are going to make up for this discipline loss that we have. Let's quickly go over our exotic armor piece, Verity's Brow. I think this armor piece is absolutely fantastic for anything PvE, and you can pretty much use it with any subclass you want. Let's read the intrinsic on that. The 4th magic. Weapon final blows with a damage type matching your subclass energy grant death throws, which provides a grenade damage bonus and grants your grenade energy. When you have death throws and throw a grenade, nearby allies gain greatly increased grenade regeneration for a short time. So our collective obligation is void, our subclass is void. Every time we get a kill with collective obligation, we're going to get 1 stack of death throws. We can get that stack all the way up to ×5, and that's going to give us a big damage bonus when we use our grenade. Let's head back over to the rest of our mods here. I'm not going to go over our general armor mods. These are really just to get my own stats where they need to be. These aren't necessarily even the entirely required stats that you want. For me, recovery, definitely you want that at 100. I personally like my intellect high. Discipline, I like to keep it somewhere around the mid, especially since some of these mods in here, we're going to be dealing with that anyway, and it's going to help us to keep our grenade up as much as possible. The resilience is really where I would rather have some extra points into, and we do have a mod for that as well. So let's get into some of these mods. So in our helmet we have Harmonic Siphon, Rapid Void, Final Blows create an Orb of Power. So we're going to be using our collective obligation a lot. It's going to give us a lot of orbs, and that is important for some of the rest of these mods that have to do with armor charge. Whenever you pick up an Orb of Power, you're going to get armor charge, so pay attention to that. Heavy Ammo Finder, on kill, you're going to have an increased drop chance of heavy ammo, and primary exotic weapons have an increased chance to drop that heavy ammo for you. We're using collective obligation again, and so that's going to help us with that. Powerful Friends, creating an Orb of Power causes nearby allies to increase their current armor charge by 1. Font of Focus, gain a bonus to discipline while you have any armor charge. Your armor charge now decays over time, so you get a 10-second timer for each of your armor charge, and it will decay 1 at a time. I have 2 of those because they do stack together, and so that'll help us whenever we have armor charge but not our grenade. It'll increase the regen of our grenade. We'll get it real quick. This is where it gets fun. Grenade Kickstart. When your grenade energy is fully expended, you gain grenade energy. Additionally, your armor charge is consumed, and you gain additional grenade energy for each stack. So for each stack of armor charge that you have, whenever you throw your grenade, it's going to give you a percentage back. For this build, I have about 4 armor charge we can store at once. That's going to give us 40 to 50% of our grenade energy immediately back to us every single time. We're using Charged Up, which is going to increase the maximum number of armor charge stacks we can have by 1. Harmonic Reserves increases the amount of ammo you can carry for void weapons. That's specifically going to be on for our Falling Guillotine. Font of Endurance is the one that I have on here that you might not necessarily need. If you have more resilience than this and you're feeling good about it, you don't necessarily need this, but my resilience is a little low for the armor that I have, so you gain a bonus to resilience while you have any armor charge. Your armor charge now decays over time. Stacks on Stacks. This one is very important in my opinion. We're going to be grabbing a whole bunch of orbs. We're going to be getting a ton of armor charge. So this one really synergizes well with it. Picking up an Orb of Power grants you 1 additional stack of armor charge. So you now get 2. Whenever you pick up an Orb of Power, you get 2 armor charge stacks. I have Harmonic Scavenger on. Void weapons get bonus reserves when picking up ammo used by that weapon. That really more helps me out with my Falling Guillotine again, so we can cruise through any challenging combatants such as champions. Innervation. While we're picking up all these orbs of power, we may as well get a bonus from it. Reduces grenade cooldown each time you pick up an orb of power. I have 2 distribution mods here on my class item. These reduce all ability cooldowns when using your class ability near targets. And I also, because we want to get as much grenade energy as possible, I topped it off with a bomber mod, reduces your grenade cooldown when using your class ability. So, all that works together. It all synergizes super duper well. Let's go ahead and get into some of the gameplay and see just how well it works all together in some more challenging environments. Alright, so let's talk about how it all works together. First, we usually want to lead in with our grenade. And when I use my grenade, I always want to make sure it's overcharged. It's literally free. It's free overcharge. So after that, that's going to leech the weakening effect when we shoot any targets that are alive within that grenade vortex. We're going to be able to leech weaken off of it. We are going to pick up any orbs that we've created, shooting other targets with our weapons. And that's going to give our weapons volatile. And so then we're able to leech volatile off of the targets we've been shooting. Then we're able to activate our Void Leech perk to slay out on adds or whatever else you have in front of you. If you find yourself running low on grenade energy when you need it, you can always use your Rift for a quick boost of grenade energy. Devour will always keep our health and the Collective Obligations magazine replenished. So you'll pretty much never have to reload as long as you have Devour, and you'll pretty much never die as long as you have Devour. We're going to generate as many orbs as possible to keep our armor charged at full stacks. That's just really helpful for when we're able to use our grenade, getting most of it back already. That'll pretty much ensure by the time we are done using our Void Leech perk, we'll have another grenade loaded up right there and ready for them. There are some other neat tricks you can use when using your Collective Obligations as well. You're able to shoot some of the yellow or orange bar enemies to put those debuffs on them, the weakening and the volatile debuffs on them, and then when you run out of your Void Leech ability, you can just continue to shoot those enemies, and that will allow you to leech the debuffs back on to your Collective Obligation. It essentially will create an infinite loop of you making enemies volatile and weakening them, and just so long as you have an enemy off to the side that you've spread those debuffs onto, then you're able to pretty much get all of those debuffs back for free without having to do anything like pick up orbs or use your grenade ability at all. So that's why when I have my debuff leech activated, you'll see me just shoot all over as many enemies as I can see all over the place on either side of me, so that when I do finally run out of my Void Leech debuff, I can easily snag it right away. And if you don't get one or two of them, you just use whatever ability or mechanic that you can to get the other debuff back. Now this build is wildly powerful in and of itself. You don't necessarily need to even use the Collective Obligation. I use it because it really does help to push all those debuffs around as much as possible, but let's say, it is a raid exotic, maybe you don't have it. Instead, you could use something like the Doom of Chelchis Scout Rifle from the King's Fall raid, or a Funnel Web or Shayura's Wrath SMG. Both of those are great options. Or even the Graviton Lance. I mean, really whatever void weapon you feel comfortable with. I would still probably stick to one that you can clear adds with pretty quickly. We want to make sure we're generating those orbs on multi-kills, so we're able to get those volatile weapon rounds. Those are oh so nice. I mean, we all, I'm sure, remember using volatile rounds when the Witch Queen came out. That was a really popular one. People using the funnel web and volatile rounds. It was a really potent combination. So there really is a lot of flexibility that you do have with a build like this. It allows you to pretty much overextend almost as much as you want, as long as you have Devour and enemies that you can easily reproc Devour with. I really just don't have enough positives to say about this kind of build. It really is kind of a jack of all trades. Anyway, that's pretty much all for me for now. I have also been experimenting with the Strand subclass. I've think that's an absolutely fantastic addition to this game. Swinging around is absolutely so much fun, and using our threadlings as warlocks. I mean, I really am a warlock main, so I do enjoy using all the little threadlings and having that kind of new way to play. So let me know in the comment section down below which subclass for the new strand subclasses is your favorite. Have you been enjoying the Titan or the Hunters as well? And what's your favorite part about them? Let's go ahead and throw that meme up on the screen now. I do plan on having a strand build out either sometimes this weekend or early next week. Let's keep our eyes out for that. And until next time, Guardians, be without form, swift as lightning.